Hi, I'm Amy Satori, a twin flame and intuitive spiritual counselor assisting in raising the vibration of our planet. I am able to scan your energy field for emotional blockages and talk to your organs using Qigong energy healing. I can also help you make decisions, talk to your pets, guides, deceased loved ones, and your family or friends' higher selves. I can help you navigate your relationships and answer pressing questions in your life by talking with the unseen world. I am not a doctor, psychologist, or fortune teller. This is for entertainment purposes only, not to be taken seriously whatsoever. Having also been enlightened for 6 months years ago, I have a feel for oneness with God and use these skills I've developed to translate the images, feelings, impressions, and messages I'm given while tuning into you and your situation. You can ask me anything by calling 256-291-1191 any Sunday starting at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time. Follow me at thesatorishow.podbean.com, find me on Instagram, or order a reading at amysatori.com today. So sit back and enjoy this episode of The Satori Show. And hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to The Satori Show. This is Amy Satori, your host today. And I have a special guest who has called in and is going to ask me a question. So I'm just going to dive right in to this call today and ask her what she needs some help with. Just a moment. Hello, caller.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So what's going on and what can I help you with today?
Yeah, I'm struggling a bit with an overseas co-parenting circumstance with my 7-year-old daughter and her father, and he hasn't been in the picture much. It's been a kind of a 20-day-a-year average, lots of court litigation over the years from him, and let's just say diagnosis of autocratic and imperious control issues is what I'm dealing with. It has been the ultimate test in patience, tolerance, forgiveness, and how to rise above. And my daughter is in Australia currently. Oh, gosh. Kind of hit me when I said it out loud. She's going to be there for 3 weeks. And I'm actually doing okay with the here and now and her being away. They do have a great relationship despite not knowing each other for that many hours logged. So I feel good about them being together. I'm more curious about bigger picture and whether or not you see us relocating to Australia to be closer to this biological father and have, a real co-parent, so to speak, in close proximity, or if that is just a very difficult thing. I guess it's kind of a double-edged sword here. Damned if I do, damned if I don't kind of situation, being close with someone who's very controlling and difficult as a co-parent, or being 10,000 miles away trying to do this, and mainly concerned about the ramifications over time for this innocent child who's been through a lot in her first 7 years of life. Yeah.
Wow, I'm sorry. What a situation.
It's weird because I don't really have a measure for comparison. It's a really unique one. And so I'm kind of navigating, uncharted waters, I feel like.
Okay. Well, what I'm feeling is that you're not going to go to Australia. And I think that she's just going to go for the few weeks and come back. And I think it would be very difficult for you to try to get over there. And I'm also feeling like you need to create a really positive environment for your child here. What's her name?
Sienna.
Her first name?
Sienna.
Sienna.
S-I-E. Yes, Sienna, like the color.
Okay, so I'll tune into her in just a minute. But what I was getting was that it would be good for you to provide, like, the best world that you can here. And she'll see the contrast between, being with her dad and then being with you as she grows up. It's, for some reason, it just feels like it's important that you guys have that distance. It's kind of, he has pretty toxic energy. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna feel into him for a moment.
Careful.
Right? I just felt that.
Really.
I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay,
truly.
So dang. He's had some serious
know each
trauma.
other for long before we had she's a happy accident. And as soon as I noticed the red flags, we decided to keep her. And
it just.
In other words, I didn't choose this to be with this type of. I didn't really know him well enough.
And that's okay. I mean, she was obviously meant to come into this world.
Oh,
and that can happen. They're saying that one of the reasons is so that you could learn to establish boundaries and things like that.
Yeah.
So you've gotten tougher, you've gotten more discerning, and when we go out with the bad guys, it just gives us more. It makes us tougher, and it just makes us appreciate the good guys that much more. Mm-hmm. And it helps us helps us communicate, helps us stand up for ourselves, helps us to learn. And there's so much great stuff in what those guys provide for us. So don't beat yourself up about having, made that choice by any means. But he's obviously quite traumatized from when he was younger. I don't even think he's willing to face it. I don't think he'll look at it. I don't think he'll change it. The guy's seems like a pretty dire situation. I'm sorry. At least he's willing to be a part of your daughter's life, I suppose. But I don't know if that's a good thing either.
Well, as long as it's on his terms and his turf. What just recently happened in the court, I just have to share this bit, is that he's got a very narcissistic attorney. He's very unethical. They're kind of cut from the same cloth.
I was going to say, I think he's like psychopathic or sociopath or something.
And my therapist has said that. Perry also diagnosed him as such. So, yuck. But,
okay. Well, here's some confirmation.
He was just awarded all of her vacation time from school and overseas, and so I'm going to be doing the full-time parenting gig here to my exhaustion.
Oh my gosh!
And she's going to be going for all of her holiday time overseas with him, so I won't get the joy, fun time with my kids. Yeah, I know, it's kind of like unbelievable as I say the words. I can't even. And the court system is so messed up. So if you don't have enough money for the good, unethical, ruthless attorney, then you lose. You lose your kid. Yeah. And I have full custody, so it's kind of crazy. It doesn't feel like I have full custody. You know what I mean?
Let me see. I want to see how he treats her. I just hang on. Let me just. All right. Well, the good thing is he's really trying to schmooze her.
Yeah.
That
I know.
is great. Okay, good. Yeah. Phew. I'd rather that than, him trying to turn her. It's like
be worse. He could be a bad father with her. Definitely could
and
be
he's
worse.
Got plenty of money. He's taking good care of her. I mean, he's basically out to be like, I am this fantastic guy. And don't you wish you lived with me? Don't you wish you could? It's like he's very competitive and he wants to win. Yeah,
that's what this situation's all about. It's not so much about wanting to be a real dad in her life. It's destroying my life over and over. Career, finances, through so much litigation. And and then, I mean, he said the words, sorry, there's a big bus driving by right now. I'm outside watching the fog roll over the Flatirons. It's actually really cool.
I know. It's so beautiful today.
Yeah, misty and foggy. And he said, I'm going to create the perfect paradise for me and hell for you. And, these kinds of horrific statements. And that's what he's done and gotten away with. And so I feel like staying here, it's like, what reward is there to keep your faith and spirit going when you do the hard yards of parenting and really have no life as a single full-time parent? And dating, forget about it. No one wants to date someone that you can't ever get a day, weekend off, So that's why I thought, well, if I relocate, I can have some breathing time, be a more energized mom. She can have her dad in a more real way with less jolting, radical, extreme international travel. But maybe with this person, I need to be 10,000 miles away from him.
Yeah, I do feel that.
You try to rise above yourself. Sorry, and just be wiser for it and think, gosh, is it the geography that's exacerbating all the stress and the fear and the paranoia? As far as he's concerned, would that be abated if we were in closer proximity and his daughter was closer to him? I want to believe that, but I'm just not sure that works for this type of personality disorder, which is what it really is. It's not something he really can control.
I think you just need to stay away from him. And I don't even think it's about that as to why you can't go over there. It just feels logistical. It feels like it would just be really hard. And they're also wanting to protect you and your energy. He's like a vampire. So being around him would just suck the life out of you. I mean, it's already sucking the life out of you, and you're this far away from him.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is...
I know this is a really tough question. How do you answer that one? And it's okay if you say, I'm stumped. I get it.
No. Because if I'm ever stumped, it doesn't matter because I'm just a person. But if I'm ever stumped, then what I do is I just listen to my intuition and my guides, and then they always know what to do.
Yeah.
Big deal. So, but what I'm getting is that you just need to do what you can to take care of you to be healthy for you in your life. When she's gone, keep your mind off of her. Know that he's taking good care of her. He will eventually show his true colors. She will see what he is. She won't want to go see him anymore. I'm just feeling that. How old is she right now?
7.
Because I was feeling like by the time she's about between 8 and 11 sometime, she sees his temper and she sees his utter deceit, and she gets completely turned off, and she doesn't want to see him anymore. I wouldn't be surprised if she refuses to go see him in the future. But in the meantime, he is just going to schmooze the heck out of her and just wine and dine her and try to convince her that he is like the best thing that's ever happened to her, which is fine. But like I said, she'll figure it out, and she feels like she's pretty darn intuitive as well. So she'll figure it out. Yeah, she'll see right through it. So for taking care of you, though, you need to definitely make sure that you're doing whatever you can to keep positive in your own, it's like you have your own ecosystem that you need to develop there at home. And that's your biggest weapon, really, is to create your happiest life here and have like a big protective energy bubble around it of happiness. Yeah. So when she comes here, she feels that great energy, and then she goes over there and goes, ugh. Yeah, and I'll have you know, from somebody who grew up in 2 separate households, I used to go down to Southern California for the summers with my mom, and then I'd spend the rest of the year with my dad in Seattle. And I would go from my mother spoiling me rotten. I mean, I could just do anything I wanted, and I could throw a fit and be a brat, and she would give me whatever I wanted. And I had her wrapped around my little finger, and I was a little monster sometimes. And then I would come, be with my dad, and my dad. So, thank you. And so then I'd, come for the rest of the year with my dad, and my dad was like Mr. Militant. He was like you will not have the temperature above 68. You will take. I literally had to take 3-minute showers. He would time them. I would clean the bathroom, and he'd come inspect. He would say, "You missed some lint on the mirror." It was very, very harsh going from my mother and me being able to do whatever the hell I wanted to. And she would would you like a pizza? How about some chocolate chip mint ice cream? I'll give you $20 in the car and to take the car down to the candy store and go get stuff, anything you want at 7-Eleven.
Dad's job that much harder.
Right.
He
bought me Briar horses.
Yeah.
But I would go, I'd go back and forth with these extremes, and I'll tell you, it made me pretty darn well-rounded, So don't worry about her development, and she's so smart. She's gonna figure it out.
I just worry that I can't give her all that she wants and deserves on my own. There's not a lot of family support, Yeah, I mean, every time I go through the days. Oh, what?
You know what she wants? You know what she deserves? Your love, peace. Your love and peace. That's it. She, don't need to have money. You don't need to have family and friends and any of that. You just need to provide a supportive environment for her to grow up in, where she feels safe and where she feels she can talk to you and be vulnerable with you. And she does.
Yeah. I have to let go of the keep up with the Joneses thing, because that can be tough, especially in Boulder. There's so much money here, and
oh gosh, just don't pay attention to that stuff. Don't pay any attention. There's always,
Mom, I want this. So and so has it. I'm sure every parent has to deal with that. This is just on a level, I guess. But you're right. It's the simple things that really do matter.
There's a really great Don Williams song. I love Don Williams. He's an old country singer, real old. Wait, most people don't. You know who he is?
I do. Yes.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. So he has you remember his song, and I've got money in the stars and gold in the morning sun. He's like, I'll never be able to buy her that diamond ring she wants, but I've got silver in the stars and gold in the morning sun. It is it's such a beautiful song.
That gave me chills. That was perfect.
Me too. I wish I could remember the title of that song. It's just so, if I remember, you guys, I'll put it
now.
Yeah. I'll put it with this. But I mean, it's such a beautiful song, and it's just so true. I mean, you can ask anybody what matters about when you grew up. What do you really look back at that you appreciated about your parents? And it was the parent that connected with you from the heart.
Yeah,
that's the one that you got the most from, right? It wasn't the money, and it wasn't the stuff you went and did necessarily. Some of those are great memories, but you can do things for free that will stick in your child's memories forever. That they'll always remember that you did this. I mean, I was broke. Not me, but as a kid, we didn't have a lot of money, or at least my dad would say we didn't have a lot of money. I don't know what the honest truth was, but he cried broke a lot. And he wouldn't even, throw Christmas for me at all sometimes, and would say, we just don't have money for a tree. We don't have money for this. We don't have money for that. And so he was always saying that. And one Christmas, this is ridiculous, really, but he got me a little pin that I liked. It was like a little Tootsie Roll pin. For some reason, I saw that little pin somewhere, and I just loved it. I don't know why, and I loved it so much. And he bought it for me for Christmas. That's all he gave me, and he acted like it was the biggest deal in the world, and it touched my heart like you can't believe.
Wow. I guess you could say he gave you the gift of gratitude, because you probably appreciate everything 10 times more, 100 times more.
And I am so easy to please, man.
Yeah, that's it.
That 50-cent Tootsie Roll thing.
That is the silver lining of Dad's military discipline.
He made up for it. He made up for it years later, and he gave me a horse, and that was the most incredible thing ever. For Christmas, I got a horse. The horse I always wanted. It was amazing. Yeah, it was so sweet. With a red velvet bow around its neck, and I had fallen in love with her. She was like this little filly.
He was saving up for the horse all those years.
Right? Oh my gosh! I know. It was just so sweet. But anyway, so yeah, let me. I want to tap into her for a minute and just see what she's feeling. I know how she feels about him already. She's already kind of she's on to his fakeness. But I want to see, just basically how she's doing in life. Hang on a second. Aw. No, she's not going to be, I mean, she's okay. She's excited about those things that she hears other kids talking about and stuff. But it's not about how much they cost, and it's not about looking great and being popular. She doesn't really care about those things either. What she likes is the fun she has when she uses them, or it doesn't even feel like she's hung up on image. She's not hung up on, I need to have this so that I can be like these others. It feels like she's actually just wanting to have fun. And since those people are having fun with these things, she wants to have fun too. So all you really got to supply her with is the fun. Give her those good, sweet memories. It doesn't take a lot of money to have a really great time. Yeah. And so provide that for her as best you can on the budget you've got, and you will touch her heart forever, just like that stupid Tootsie Roll thing.
Lots of play dates. Yeah. It's hard to find a village here sometimes too, and I know that if we had that, I would be so less worried about being able to provide that. She's such a social being, the kind that just chortles when she laughs when she's with other kids and in her zone. It's hysterical. But the opposite is true when we're alone, or she's not always stimulated, or there's time to think about the heavier things. And
well, you know what she gets with you that she does not get with her father?
What's that?
She is a doll. She is a sweetheart. But what she gets with you that she's never going to get from her father ever is the warmth. She feels like she can totally be herself with you. She doesn't feel scared around you. She feels like she can trust you. She can giggle and be silly and be ridiculous, and you laugh with her and you hold her and you're soft with her and you listen to her. You are kind and loving. You are just as compassionate as she is. That's why you love it about her too. You're a beautiful mother. You are such a great mom, and that's what she needs.
Yeah, I just want to stop being taken to court so I can keep a good job and keep our house. We just lost job and house again this year, and it's just like the cycle continues, and it's like, okay, I got to scoop myself back up again. Here we go. It's just that part's hard. Just like I said, keeping the faith to just keep going and trust it's going to get easier. It's going to get better when you have so much fear in you and like PTSD. I mean, it's habit from all this, and you just kind of shake and shiver sometimes, thinking, God, is this just going to happen again next year? I'm going to lose my great job again, our home, and
you got to let go of the stories. You got to let go of the stories. The stories are going to torment you. And I would go back, and I have an episode on abusive relationships. I would put in the search in Podbean, abusive. It'll probably come up with abusive, and listen to that talk. And the number one thing that you can do to help in that situation, is going to sound really funny, but laughter. Yeah. Laughter and play.
I want more of that in our world. That's what we need. Yeah. More light and laughter.
Yes.
It changes everything.
Yeah. And when this stuff starts happening and he's after you again and he's doing this stuff again, laugh your ass off. Just crack up. Just like you get the notice in the mail, just start laughing.
Laugh at the absurdity.
And just, this is ridiculous. And you really will dissolve that negative energy with laughter.
That's such a good one.
And laugh with her. Yeah, laugh with her. You guys could even, this will be so cute. Before you guys go to bed, have laugh sessions. Like and for just 5 to 10 minutes before you go to bed, just crack up and make each other laugh.
Thank you for reminding me that, because we used to do that. We used to do like the funny dance party before bed, or just the tickle session. And it's like, starting your morning off by meditating and setting the tone for the day, setting the tone for sleep and just rest and groundedness at nighttime. That's a great reminder.
And he'll see, and it's like when you go into that negative space and you start spinning out and you start what if, and getting into the fear place, you're robbing her of your warmth and that love, and you're showing her that you're supposed to worry about life. that life's not on your side. It doesn't have your back. You gotta keep looking behind you to see if somebody's gonna come, hit you over the head.
No, that's not what I want to teach my kid at all.
Right. So be a comedian, become a comedian, make it funny, make it laugh, teach her how to laugh at kids at her school that are bullying her, teach her to laugh, when stuff goes wrong, teach her to be, to slough stuff off like it's no big deal. And people ask me, how are you able to go into haunted houses that are really horrifyingly scary with these demons and crazy stuff? And I'm like, well, I just go in ready to laugh my butt off. Oh, yeah.
I mean, is this a common thing? Yeah.
I go in there and I just...
I want to go in haunted houses.
And I'm like, I've seen some crazy stuff, man. And I've had people sit down and they got evil in their eyes, and I've had this several times. And I just the first thing I do is, well, first of all, I don't look in their eyes when I first see a glimpse of it, and then I say, hey, can I do some energy work on you? You're gonna take something out of you here, and then I'll work on the energy or whatever. But I am always equipped and ready to laugh. It is always on the tip of my tongue to just crack up.
Can I ask you a quick thing on that topic?
Yeah.
It's tied into Australia and an experience I had there, kind of the dark side, the voodoo, dark magic thing, and I experienced a lot of it. I worked with a lot of healers over there, and some charlatans, some the real deal, Son of God, and a couple others. But I had an experience. I was married before I had Sienna, and the marriage didn't work out. He turned out to be kind of an alcoholic, and I got out of that. But we went to try my wedding dress on because I didn't really have any friends yet. I just moved over to Australia, and so my husband-to-be was with me. And this crazy woman with the Zulu eyes, this pop-up wedding dress shop that was so sketchy. We shouldn't have gone in there in the first place. Anyway, I'm trying this dress on. Oh, yeah, this one's nice. Just looking. And she said, no, you'll buy this dress today. And she looked at me with her blue eyes and possessed me almost. And she goes, you'll buy this dress today. And I said, no, I'm just looking. Thanks. Here you go. And I'll come back maybe tomorrow or the next day. And she takes my camera and grabs it out of my hand. She goes, you're not getting your camera back until you buy this dress. And at this point, my husband kind of intervenes. He's like, we're calling security. And as security's coming up to retrieve my camera and help us get out of there safely, she looks at me and she goes, you're going to be cursed on your wedding day. And
wow.
Let me just tell you, some crazy shit happened after that. I grew a cyst that was the size of a cantaloupe within a few weeks. The doctors were all mystified. I mean, it was like the worst series of bad luck you could imagine. And I didn't want to feed into this curse thing, but it kept coming. God, did she curse? What's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder if and so I thought about because I feel like this bad luck kind of keeps coming out. Is it luck? Am I drawing it in? Am I calling it in? Is it me? What am I doing to, make things more extreme or radical? I don't know. I just wondered if you could feel into that and if there's anything there or if I'm just losing it and you need to just go, no, that has nothing to do with anything. You're grasping at straws with that one.
Yeah. There is goodness and light and humor, and I'll tell you something about free will. It is the number one law on the planet, not even the planet, the whole entire universe. Everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't care what kind of being you're talking about, or whether they're extraterrestrials or they're demons or what kind of creature you can imagine out there. I don't care what it looks like or how scary it looks. It does not have any power over you if you are not afraid of it, period. Mm. It cannot do a thing to you unless you're afraid. Mm. So what I like to use as an example is let's say the boogeyman is in your bedroom and he's in the closet and he's thinking, ooh, I found somebody I can really scare. And he rustles around the clothes. I'll do this to see what happens. Did you see Monsters, Inc.?
Yeah.
Okay, so rustling around in the closet, and keeping that movie in mind is a really good analogy, because they're really putting on an act going in there trying to scare these kids, getting the screams out of them, right?
No, and it's the silliness back in it too.
Right, totally.
It seriously.
Yeah, whoever made that movie like understood free will, because so the boogeyman's in the closet wrestling stuff around, and either it works or it doesn't, and that is your permission, and that is the permission you give of your free will in that moment. If you are scared, it's not like going to come out of the closet and be like, hey, is it okay that I scare you? And you're going to be turning around, oh yes, I give you my free will to go ahead and scare me. It's a much faster process than that, and it's what you offer up with your heart. That's what you're used to. It's what your default is. Is your default curiosity and trust in the universe and just kind of looking at it and just being like, what the heck? I wonder why my clothes are moving. Or is your automatic default to be like, my clothes are moving? And whatever your default is, you're going to offer that up in that split moment, and that's, you've given them permission. However, when you've trained yourself like I have, if I see something move like that, I'll just look at it, and then I'll just wait a second to see if it continues to move. And if it continues to move, then I'll just ask questions, or I'll be curious, or if it looks funny to me, I'll start laughing. And they get really ticked off if you start laughing. And I had nightmares for many, many years of all these demons coming after me. Apparently they were preparing me for this work I do now. But so I would have these demons coming at me, and I'd be like, in the name of Jesus, I cast you out. In the name of God, I cast you out. In the name of this, I do this. And I tried so many different things, and some of them would work, but they could still feel my fear, so they'd come back after me. And then I'd be like, this is ridiculous. 20 times I've told you in Jesus' name to leave me alone. I've taken holy water. I tried everything you could possibly imagine. And then finally, I had this really seductive demon come at me, and it tried to make out with me, and I started cracking up. And I was like,
really
I know what you are.
Demon, I'm trying to picture seductive.
Like super sexy. And it was like, I could sense. Hey, baby. And it was the same feeling that the demons would give me, only it was like a really sexy person. And so I was like going, you kind of seem like those demons to me, but you're awfully cute. And, so I was like trying to figure it out. Like, I don't know, this doesn't quite feel right. And so, so I started laughing, and I was like, I know who you are. I know what you are. And I started laughing, and it shrieked and flew up into the corner of the room. And I was like, oh my gosh, that was like the coolest reaction I've ever had. And so then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm totally empowered now. I figured it out. And then I tried it again in another nightmare, and I just automatically went to laughter, and it shrieked again and took off. And then it tried again, and it was like, no, you're really scared in there. And I was like, oh, no, I'm not. And I was laughing and laughing and laughing, and they have never come back to me since.
Wow.
They won't even waste their time because they know.
So how do I use that as an analogy for my demon that I have to spend, the rest of my kid's life dealing with? Laugh at the things he does, even if it's just continuing to go lower, lower, lower. Things like offering to help us relocate so many times and then saying, no, I'm taking that off the table. I'm like, this is your child. Right. And she's a ragdoll to you.
Okay.
It's the mind game, pawning his child. And I'm just like, oh my God. It's one thing if you want to be vindictive towards me, which he doesn't really have a reason to be, because he left me when I was pregnant overseas. It's not like I left him. And then I could see maybe, but I think he was jealous of me or something. I don't know. I was doing these cool film projects and working with Sea Shepherd Conservation Society and surfers, and he really wanted to do that. And I think his jealousy just grew and grew and grew, and he just had to knock me down and hammer me down. And then it became, I don't know.
He doesn't like your freedom.
I don't really have freedom right now. I feel shackled from 10,000 miles away. That's my biggest problem, that being under someone's thumb from so far away who does so little parenting,
So you're only
be free in this situation as a full custody parent, but like, weird.
So
no more in jail like this. And
you can thank your higher self. No, seriously though, it's like we planned this before we came down here. We set all this up for ourselves and for our growth. Right? Okay. So
well, it's interesting because you know how your demons prepared you for your work now. I've had so many women of abuse coming into my past, and I teach Pilates, and I've been becoming more of a life coach, healer, Pilates instructor. You know, just helping people, talking through a lot of their traumas, and a lot of women of abuse, and it's just a natural thing for me because I know the ins and outs of it from every corner of litigation to, you know, how it, yada, yada. But anyway, I guess you can be seen as a positive that way so that it can help others in some capacity.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I've had things happen. Yeah, I've had things happen, and I just, like, look up like I'm looking up at my higher self, and I'll say, hey, thanks. You got me on that one. You know, so you can kind of laugh with your higher self about that. Like, that was a good one. That was a good test. I like that one. You almost had me. But one of the things that you can do, one of the exercises that will really help empower you in this situation is to do what I call thank you, God, for my misery. So you just take out a tablet of paper and write down all the worst things that have happened to you. You could do things in the past, things that are in the present, or things you fear in the future. It doesn't matter. That you just say, thank you, God, that I have this horrible man in my life who's torturing me. And then you list the advantages and benefits as to why that's perfect, why that is such a great thing, how it is benefiting you, and how it is perfect that it's happening right now at exactly the way that it is at the age she's at, and with you guys being in separate countries and the whole thing. And you just list as many things as possible, even if it's like ironic or sarcastic or funny. And you just list as many things as you possibly can. Try to list like 15 things per subject matter. And then you flip the page and you do it again. And then you'll say, thank you, God, and by the way, that prison that you're describing, that you kind of feel like you're in shackles or whatever, a million miles away, that's your mind that's doing the imprisoning, not him. So just remember that too. Keep it in perspective. You're the one who is deciding to believe stories.
My mind is really messed up right now because I'll give you just one quick thing that happened. This is a small snapshot of our recent court experience. It's like The Changeling. Did you ever see that movie with Angelina Jolie? It's like 1950s.
Yeah, I don't remember it, but yeah.
No one believes her that her kid's been kidnapped, and so they put her in the loony bin and drug her and put her in the straitjacket because she's crazy. Well, that's what's been happening in court. This attorney, opposing counsel, is so ruthless that she will say that everything on my resume is a lie. I was never a professor. I was never a filmmaker. I just have to make myself out better than I am because I have such low self-esteem, like just crushing stuff, you know. And and then she'll say, she'll make stuff up to make it look like I'm lying, but she's lying. I mean, it's just the most mind-bending Jedi mind tricks kind of stuff. And when you don't have the great attorney to oppose that, a judge ends up believing that, and then you get on the court order something saying the mom comes across as an incredible witness, not incredible like I'm awesome, incredible, but not credible, incredible. And I'm like, oh my God, I've spent my whole life as a teacher and, you know, environmental filmmaker and working with children my whole life, and, you know, a journalist because I want to be honest and truthful and bring things to justice. And so it's the most, it's like insult to injury on the highest level for me, because it's such a denigration of my character on top of the abuse and the difficulty of this parenting arrangement. And I'm just like, what gives? Like, do you guys have to go that low? Really? Like, the dad pisses off to go surfing around the world and leaves me pregnant, and now I have to sit here and endure this on top of it? What? Shows up to parent 20 days a year, and I'm the are you kidding
Yeah.
And it's so disappointing that a female judge would say things like that. I mean, just the court system is such a dark vortex of injustice and untruths, and when your self-esteem is so crushed and your confidence is so low and you're so depleted, it's hard to say, oh yeah, the court system is just a bunch of BS. And I know it's dysfunctional, but you know, it's your self-esteem that's under assault. And that's my biggest Achilles heel that I've got to get back, because my daughter's prosperity depends on it, you know. And
well,
so
just remember, just remember that, I mean, our egos are designed to look for anything to make us miserable, and it will point everything out, and it won't stop, by the way. I mean, you can think that, like, you could resolve all these matters that you're talking about, and then it's going to turn into other things, other reasons to be really upset with your life. So it's not even about finding solutions to these situations that are happening. It's really about retraining your brain. It's about retraining your brain to see the benefits and advantages as to why these are a good thing. And
I think it's healing the trauma in the brain, too. You know, the layers of... I'm thinking of doing EMDR or brain spotting, one of these techniques. That's
a great idea.
You know, it pushes it takes it a little bit out of the frontal cortex, I guess, and pushes it back a little so it's not right there, so palpable. Because it's like my therapist, who I haven't seen in a while because I can't really afford her anymore, but she used to say, this is like brain damaging stuff, Sienna, and I'm not kidding when I say that. That's what happens. And, you know, you've got to say it's not your fault. You've got to keep doing the work, because if he keeps bringing you down like this and damaging, you know, the chemistry in your brain, you're going to really struggle. So you've got to look after that.
Yes.
So I have some self-care.
I have some resources on my website, amysatori.com, and then you just click on the resources tab, and there are a lot of different things on there you could try as well. But
awesome. I'll definitely look at that.
Yeah, but you want to try. I mean, the humor will help. The exercise that I told you, thank you God for my misery. Every single time you feel like something's going wrong, do that exercise. It'll really help free you, and it'll help like reprogram your brain in the way you want your brain to stop attaching to negativity.
Yes,
because that's
absolutely.
The habit that's there. It's like
it's hardwired.
It's like a bloodhound
pattern.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
And I'm so glad you mentioned the sense of humor thing, because I lost it there for a while. It was so just on like I don't know, I felt like my skin was just raw, you know, where you're just I don't know. And I lost my sense of humor, and I used to have a pretty good one, so I just got to get that back, because the one thing that happens with this, PTSD is a real, it's a bitch, if I can say that, because you just want your loved ones, your family and your friends to wrap their arms around you and just give you the biggest hug, because you're so scared and so panicked and vulnerable, like your nerve endings are exposed, you know, to air. And what happens with it is it pushes people away, because people don't understand it. It's scary, you know, like your eyes get really big, and they're not used to seeing their daughter so terrified or whatever, not herself, and so it repels, and that happened this last year. I think my whole family's traumatized by what this guy's doing to their granddaughter and their daughter, and no one quite knows what to do anymore, and the financial derailment is, you know, stressful for the family, and and so I've lost my support system that used to be my family. They all kind of came down on me too, and like this was somehow my fault. And then I got pissed. I had my moment of, wait a minute, you're gonna blame me on top of all this? No. Come on. And so we're taking the break. We are not communicating right now, and they need to not, because it was abuse on top of abuse on top of abuse. And I'm like, So like you said earlier in the beginning, this is kind of about boundary setting for me, and what I'm going to allow, how I'm going to allow people to treat me. And it's hard, because I've always been very social and had a lot of friends, and this is a very lonely, so much on my shoulders, so much responsibility, and just me going it alone. And I'm sure that's the test. I'm sure it's empowering me, but I don't know. Do you see family coming back around and maybe learning something about maybe their own behavior and what they need to do better by me and Sienna in all of this? I'm so torn between taking the high road and, taking one for the team and just rising above it all and saying, I'm sorry, I was traumatized. I'm coming out of it now. Forgive me. I hope we can all move on and come back together. That's what I want to do. At the same time, I saw some patterns of tough love and just abusive language. And I read a court order with this compelling result in our parenting plan, and my mom saying, "Oh, you're an idiot." And I'm like, what? God, what kind of mom does that? I'm dealing with some narcissism in my parents, and I don't know. Narcissism is the theme here. With Sienna's dad, probably with my parents, who can be helpful, but with hurt sometimes. And then you go, is that help or is that hurt? Is it worth it to have any help if it comes with hurt or not? And you just draw the line in the sand and say, the buck stops here. That's not help. And it's tough to navigate because I'm such a soft one that's always running to help every one of my family members. But I'm kind of worn out. I can't help everyone and raise my daughter on my own, I'm not trying to make myself sound like I'm some kind of perfect person. It doesn't come across that way, but a little bit less selfish, I would say, than my other family members anyway.
Well, I would definitely don't reinforce the negative stories, for one. It's just like watching the news. Don't watch the news all the time so that you hear all the negative stuff. Don't reinforce that with your family. And if you have to make decisions by yourself and not tell them what you're doing or what's going on, then leave them out of it if they can't handle it. But most of all, though, if you take care of yourself properly emotionally, then you can stand your own when it comes to whatever they have to say. If they want to start saying everything that you're doing wrong, you don't want to be like a fake tough, where you're like, I don't care what you have to say, but really, truly support yourself emotionally so much that you feel really strong, and no matter what they say, you truly don't care. And you're just like, I just thought I'd keep you in the loop. You don't necessarily have to be a kind person back, but, I'm not going to be around you if you're going to act like that. You know, so that's where that boundary setting comes in. But the most important thing that you need right now is a tool to help you emotionally. And I've had PTSD. And I have trained my brain now.
Yeah, with all these demons, how can you not?
I don't dwell in those negative places. So that's the point is you got to have some tools, no matter what those tools are. You got to have some tools in place that you do not allow that negativity to spin out of control. You might feel uncomfortable or have some negativity happen, but you immediately use your tools to dismantle them and let go.
And PTSD, it's almost like it takes you over and you're on autopilot under its spell.
Yep.
It's bizarre. It's really bizarre. It's like
and you're not going to change anyone
you're
else.
Not being yourself, and yet you can't change it in that moment. It's really, but I know there are things I can do and practitioners I can see in different modalities that will help. So
energy work too will help.
Yeah.
I want to do something for you. Yeah, I do.
Okay. We'll have to reconnoiter after this meeting on the phone. I would love that.
Yeah, that'd be great. One of the things I want to do for you right now, though, is I want to do a light language blessing for you and your daughter, just to protect both of you and to try to help dismantle some of this negativity. And then when I do the light language blessing, oftentimes I get some messages back from my guidance telling me more information to let you know. Okay? So I want you to just relax, and you can just listen to this channeled energy that's going to come through, and it's going to sound funny. But just take it in, and it's designed to go past the ego and go straight to the heart and help activate things that you need. So, okay, great. Hold on just a moment, and I'll probably ask you afterwards how it made you feel or any impressions that you got as well, because you have an intuition too, Missy. So hang on just a moment.
Yeah.
Ashomo Santa Nailera Ramanaika. Hala Shoson te Kempo. Hala Puchutinakine Ema Akela Brona. Ashoson Tante Ganapai Ilara Nanaki. Asha Sebe Navolona na Akais. Sasha Sompo Dalarina Takitan Zapokosha. Assassinsa Ikbolona Tatitan Zata Kabosha. Okay.
Wow.
Did you feel something?
Yeah. Well, the first thing I felt was that you were definitely channeling someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't even you. That was kind of crazy. Wow.
Did you feel anything in your body?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I'm outside, so I'm kind of cold anyway, but I got like that kind of chill up the spine feeling. It was in a good way, not a bad way. It reminded me of an experience I had when I went to do a crystal healing on a Dawn of God crystal bed. Mm-hmm. Long story short, helped a friend of mine through the last stages of cancer, her kind of unofficial hospice nurse, and had a delayed hit of grief, maybe a year and a half later. And she did some healing work with Dawn of God while she was dying. And I went through this whole transformative, otherworldly experience with her on her journey, things that I never knew could exist, in this other realm, because she defied all conventional medicine. So it was like Grandfather Snowy White Owl came to do a healing at our house, and the Snowy White Owl followed him wherever he did his healings and sat on the branch outside of her window in the tree until the day he left.
Oh, wow.
I mean, and so here's how intuitive and spiritual my daughter is. We go to an art show recently in Salida. I have to tell you the side story. And she picks out this owl with these spooky red eyes, and I'm like, oh my God, of all the pictures that are healing, like beautiful moonscapes with feathers, really light and airy, she picks the freaking scary demon owl as it appeared. And I looked at the artist, and she looked at me and just started laughing. She said, don't freak out. I know what you're thinking. She goes, let me tell you what this really symbolizes. And Sienna goes, no, you don't have to tell me. It means courage and wisdom. And I think an owl also helps protect you. And she said, this is the one I want. I'm going to Australia, and I know my mom's going to want me to have it.
Wow.
Okay then, Sienna.
That's incredible. I told you.
How old are you?
That's incredible.
So anyway, part of the owl and the Dawn of God healing with this friend of mine, Annie, who had cancer, it was just this incredible experience. So I moved to Byron Bay, Australia, shortly after she died. And Dawn of God crystal beds they're kind of a...
I have one.
You do?
Ooh. It's beautiful.
Serious?
It has rainbows all over in it. Yeah.
You have one?
Yeah.
Crystal?
It's on...
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird, because this connection is strange. So there weren't that many crystal beds around the world at this time. And I went to go get a massage when I was in Byron Bay, trying to kind of heal from the grief. And and this massage therapist had cards on his table saying Dawn of God crystal bed. And I just went, whoa, how do you know about Dawn of God? Because I don't know anyone who knows about Dawn of God, really, until I met Annie. And he said, oh, well, didn't you know that there's a crystal bed in the Dawn of God, where they call them little intermediaries that train with Dawn of God to help people through their passage on the crystal bed. And he said, there's one right across the street from the apartment you just moved into. And I was like, what?
Wow.
Of course there is. So I went and had this amazing healing session. And I don't know, your voice when you were just talking, coming back to, my reaction to that was, I felt that Dawn of God, it was almost like the accent from him or her. I don't know. It has this kind of Brazilian ancient healing quality to it. That's what I got.
Very cool.
What do you, when you read that, or where does it come from? What's your, what was that from your standpoint?
I call it light language, for lack of a better term, I guess. It's kind of a general term.
It doesn't feel that light. You know what I mean?
More powerful, right?
It's richer, deeper, and more powerful than light. Like a deeper kind of healing. But yeah, it was powerful for me for sure.
Well, there's a being called Celeste that I channel, and she is the head of a council. She's like the ambassador for a council of about 60 beings that are here to balance the masculine and feminine energy of the earth. So she's the one that comes through, and she's very, very loving. She feels to me like kind of Kuan Yin energy, if anybody knows about Kuan Yin, but just very, very compassionate. Kuan Yin?
Yeah.
It's either, some people spell it Quanyin or Kuanyin. You can look her up.
Okay, well.
Yeah, and actually, I found out like a couple months ago that Kuan Yin was male turned female, possibly, or the other way around.
Okay, so that's what I got from her voice. That's what I got. There was definitely
what's that?
Just this mixed male female in one.
Interesting
voice. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me because she's the ambassador, and she's like channeling all of their information in one. She's like the one taking all of their information in like a funnel, and she's, channeling it through me, and it's coming out of my mouth. It's all very interesting. It feels incredible when I feel her love. It's very comforting for me to speak light language too. It feels just as good for me as it does the people I do it for. So
of Alma, the healer?
Yeah.
The hugger.
Yeah.
I saw her in Australia, and I just kind of equate her a similar energy. It's just like this light but super powerful all at the same time. It felt similar to that. Yeah, she hugs you, and it's like the hugs of millions of people are hugging you at the same time. Crazy.
Aww. I do love the hug. I'll give anybody a hug. I'll give you
a hug next time I see you. I promise.
That sounds great.
Thank you for spending so much time with me. I am so grateful.
You're welcome.
It's funny because a friend of ours actually texted me and said, and I just got the text at like 10 to 8, and she said, call after 7, I'm like, I probably missed it. I need to call. It's turned out to be such a beautiful and needed thing. I appreciate the time. I know it's late, so.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm going to close the show out. But thank you so much for calling. That was really awesome. And thank you so much, anyone who's listening to this. I love you guys so much, and I really appreciate those of you who are in my 1111 Twin Flame Forum, those that are participating in those conversations and being supportive of one another. You guys are just great, and thank you so much for that. There are a couple questions I wasn't able to get to, but I will get to them at some point, or maybe I'll just answer some questions for next week's show coming up. But again, if you need some personal or customized help, if you want a customized light language blessing for yourself, or you'd just like some guidance with whatever you're going through right now in your life, you can order a reading at amysatori.com. And I do remote readings all over the world. So don't let distance be a thing. And just thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you so much, so much. And have yourselves a beautiful day. And thanks for listening to The Satori Show.